Two things that are good in the morning: poppy seed muffins and some coffee. So let's talk about how the country of Thailand transitioned from the mass production and illegal trading of one of those things to the more legal production of the other. Opium is produced from poppy seed, and that was the only form of revenue the Thai population knew until coffee was introduced. Today, you learned about how 97% of opium production was eradicated in three contributing factors: the role the government played by implementing projects and laws, the economic viability coffee had over opium, and the unique and suitable geography of Thailand. The reason I'm talking about this today is because I have family in Thailand myself that own land and produce coffee, and I wanted to learn more about how coffee was produced and a little bit of the history of how it became part of their life. What began in the mid 20th century, 1950s, opium was recognized as a problem. According to travel writer Kay Kaesler in an article on the history of the Golden Triangle, which is the borders of Thailand, Laos, and Myanmar, opium was originally grown for medicinal purposes, but after opium production in China was closed, it grew significantly in demand, leading to illegal trading and mass production. The first government project that was implemented was the Royal Project. After the failed attempts of stopping opium in the 1950s with some minor laws and control from the government, the late king at the time created the Royal Project. This was the start of introducing new crops besides opium. For instance, coffee. This was one of the major leading sparks to that substitution. The next was the Doi Tung Development Project introduced by Princess Mother. The Meifang Luang Foundation talks about how she wanted to pull the villagers out of the vicious cycle of sickness, poverty, and ignorance. This was started by three phases: survival, the basic necessities of life, and teaching the villagers about them; sufficiency, environmental restoration in the land; and lastly, sustainability, educating the youth. Lastly, one of the big government implemented contributions was laws. Again, back in 1950s, laws were implemented, but there was no punishment because there was no control. Today, after much development, fines as high as 5 million baht and even life in prison can get you from producing opium. Government was probably the greatest significant factor and contributor to eradicating opium, but coffee being introduced showed its viability as something to farm over opium. Poppy seed was the only form of farming people knew at the time. There was no other form of revenue, and because of that, that's what was produced. High demand, yet it let a lot of people left in poverty because there was a low return on the trading and selling of opium. Coffee was introduced, and this created new opportunities, really brought families out of poverty. People were able to start their own businesses, open up their own shops, all with the legal license of selling it. Coffee itself has a high market already today, and back then this continued to rise and really bring those families out of poverty. It is a worldwide consumption. I drink it, and I bet most of you have drinking it. And in an article published the 20th of August, they talk about how the Thai population drink about 340 cups per year. Globally, $269 billion are spent on coffee every year, with a estimated value of 350 by the year 2030. Coffee is popular, and because of that, it was produced. One of the reasons it was produced is because of the very special and sustainably perfect environment Thailand withheld. There's high altitude and low altitude. High altitude, found in the north parts of Thailand, create Arabica coffee beans. The mountainous terrains, cool environment, and rich soil allow for a slow buildup of flavors and sweetness during the slow growth process of these beans. The drainage of the mountainous regions also allows for a dense packing of the sugars found in these beans. Low altitudes create Robusta beans. High temperatures, faster production, but more earthy, milder taste. What's so great about coffee is its very complex flavors. You have high altitude, rich flavors, and low altitude, earthy flavors. The high altitude North coffee bean is said to have a bright citrus notes, subtle floral undertones, and a smooth chocolatey finish, where, like the South's hotter part, earthier, more mild, and soft taste. But again, everyone has their own preference, which is why production was encouraged. Today, I talked to you about 3 major contributions that led to opium being eradicated almost entirely in the country of Thailand. The government and how they implemented projects and laws, the economic viability coffee had over opium, and how the geography of Thailand was perfect for producing different types of coffee. Khop Khun Krop. This is my family's coffee, produced in the north. Again, like I said earlier, citrus flavor, floral undertones, and that chocolatey finish. I've gotten to taste it firsthand, and it is delicious.